In 2016, 2017, just after I had rebranded my channel into what you know by now, I did a remix of a Robert Parker song called 85 Again. This was a remix competition. I never talked to the guy, but I submitted a version which I thought was a good thing at the time to get some momentum on my channel going. I was starting at scratch. And initially he had this remix on his, I think it was on his SoundCloud, but the remix soon was gone from his sites, and he's kept a lot of other remix submissions from that competition. I don't know why he took down mine. Later I heard that a lot of people preferred my remix to his original version, so maybe he didn't like that. Anyways, for years I've had this alternate version of this remix, and this alternate version is completely my own song because I used a totally new chord progression when I did remix, and I also did my own melody top line just for that day when the remix might be gone. So I'm gonna show you how I made this today. The backing track is exactly the same as I did for the Robert Parker remix, but again, I used a totally different chord progression and only my own synth sounds, so there's nothing left of that Robert Parker remix in my version except that you'll recognize the backing track if you heard the remix I did for that Robert Parker 85 Again back in 2016, 2017. So let's head on into the DAW and find out what it's all about. Okay, so here we have the project window. Everything ends badly, breakdown. As usual, I've colorized my different types of sounds: drums in red, bass in blue, synths in orange, piano a lighter blue, guitars in green, and my vocals have been mixed down for this tutorial. So this is just a stereo track now with effects on it and everything. It's in yellow. If you do want more details about vocal arrangements, how I record my vocals, etc., you can watch my A Song Is Born tutorial of 10 separate videos where I go into great detail about that process. This here will be a more overview and breakdown of this particular song and how I mix the different sounds together, more or less. So if you haven't already listened to the track on Bandcamp, I'll give you a short recap here, playing the first minute or so, and then I'll break down the different tracks. So here we go. Okay, so if you've heard the original Robert Parker remix I did, this sounds quite different in terms of the vocals, because now this is my totally original song. When I do remixes, or when I did remixes back in the day, I always made sure that the chord progression of my remixes were completely different from the original. So if it came to pass that for some reason the remix was rejected or it didn't work, etc., I could always fall back on the arrangement I made and just compose a new top line, and I would have an original song made by me 100%. And so is the case here. Taking off the original Robert Parker vocals, I now have my own, and this is now my song. So this is something I've done for years, and it's served me well. So let's break down and see what's going on. You've seen a little bit already. So let's check out the drums from the beginning, what they're doing. They're very simple, not much going on. So let me mute the different parts here and we'll turn them on one by one. Let's check out the drums. Very simple, just a kick from the 626, the Roland 626, a snare sample, and I can't actually remember where I got that sample from now. That's why I only put in the word sample here. Maybe from some library, maybe something I made on my own. I can't remember, so sorry about that. The hats are from the R8. The toms are from the R8. Not much of those, just one single hit in the beginning of a couple of bars here. A crash, again, can't actually remember where that came from. And the same with the shaker. In terms of mixing, some reverbs going on the snares, the hats, and the crashes. Got a little bit of delays going on here and there. So very, very simple in terms of drums. Back in the day when I did this, is 2016 or 2017, I did use the kick from the 626. I would probably replace that now if I was doing this from scratch, making a new song from scratch today. I don't use the 626 kick as much as I did back then. I'd probably do the R or the TR-505 kick processed, which I showed in an earlier video this year, or maybe from the Lindrum, although I've started to abandon the Lindrum kick as well, because I think the Lindrum kick sounded better when it was delivered through a vinyl record. I don't think the Lindrum sounds that good when you record it digitally and listen back digitally as the TR-707 or 505 kick drums. Maybe I'll make a video about that later, but that's how I feel. So I would probably not go for the 626 kick today, but it works. It's probably a little too weak in terms of the mid-frequency energy. But let's move on. That was the drums. And if we add the bass here again, let's start from the beginning. So there are two types of bass sounds here. One from the Alpha Juno. And one from the Juno 6. And the Juno 6 one it says here light bass. So it's more an octave above, but together they add that bass sound I really like on this song. And when we get to the verse here, I add a little bit more, or I change it up a little bit. Because I have a lot of bassiness on my sound here, on my vocal sound. So I took off some of the lower end frequencies from the bass. So that's why it's a gap here. This song doesn't have a chorus with vocals in it. The chorus is more the piano part. So it's really only in the first verse and a little bit later here that I have vocals, and that's why I've taken out the bass in the first part here, or the deeper part of the bass here. So that's the intro part and the verse part with the drums and the bass, and we'll listen to the synths from the beginning together with drums and bass, and I'll solo it a little bit. So again, not much going on in the intro here. It's really the piano, which is the main star of the intro and chorus parts. I'll get back to that piano shortly. I have a couple of pads here from the JX8P. High pass, of course, always high pass strings and pads and stuff like that. Don't let anything go in the way of the bass and the kick when it comes to pop music. So filter out below 100 hertz with a high pass filter. An arpeggio from the Jupiter 8, and this is not a hardware Jupiter 8. I did not have access to that when I did this back in the day. So in 2016, 2017, I mean. So this is probably from the Arturia V collection, yeah, 1 or 2 back then, I guess. Again, high pass filtered, more this time on this track. And I also have some auto panning going on here, so it shifts between the left and right channel. And reverb and delay. And together with the bass. So that's the intro part, and when we come to the verses, again, when I take off the bass, I do some things with the JX8P emulation called PG8X. Same part, just shifted a little bit in terms of panning. And I also probably, let's check it out, I probably also, no, it's the same setting for the reverb and delay. Sometimes I just change out the amount of sense I send to the reverbs or delays when I do things like this when I alternate between left and right channel with the same sound. But apparently I didn't do that here. Again, some high-pass filtering on these. So that's drums, bass, and synths. Let's check out the guitar part now. This has become something of a signature sound for me. I use this sound in a lot of my songs because I like it so much. And some EQ going on here and some reverb and delay, of course. And that leaves the piano, which is of course the star of the show here. This is also a stemmed down piano part, stereo part. There's some real nice shimmering going on at the higher end of the frequency of the reverb tail and delay tails here. So this is also a piano sound I like to use a lot. Again, probably from the Arturia V collection back then, mixed in with some high strings and that shimmer reverb. At this time, this would have been the Strymon Big Sky. I'm pretty sure of that. I used that a lot around that time. So can't say 100% for sure if that's what I used. Might have been the Lexicon PCM 81 as well. But nevertheless, lots of reverbs, lots of delays and shimmers, and yeah, just make it as lush and beautiful as possible, and layer down the right notes to mix it in with the strings in the synths and everything. Yeah. we're coming to the vocals. Let's turn them on. I'm so sorry I let you down. You were on my mind. However, I lost time. So I must say, no need to stay up late tonight, my dear. But have no fear. When I get over you, it's over. We've talked about it for a while now. You keep the rover, it's over. And for once, you can make out with someone else in the backseat. I don't know if you care about lyrics at all, but to me lyrics means a lot, and no matter how cheesy you think my lyrics are in my music, they always tell a true story from my life. And if you paid attention to the little line here, we've talked about it for a while now. You keep the rover, it's over. You keep the rover, it's over. That's a true story. I didn't have a rover because I couldn't really find a good rhyme for the type brand of car I had. So for artistic reasons, I had to change the brand car name for these lyrics, but it's true. She kept the car in the breakup. So everything ends badly, otherwise it wouldn't end. So again, my lyrics always tell a true story from my life. Let's move on. And for once, you can make out with someone else in the backseat. And the piano part again. Don't change the piano part during the first 2/3 of the song. It's the same sort of riff. I only change it later at the end for maximum dynamic and emotional impact. So I take off the snare part here to, again, build up a little bit of tension towards the last part of the song here. I'm so sorry it took so long. I'm so sorry it took a while, but now I'm gone. I'm so sorry, I'm not sorry. And again, it tells a true story. In a bad breakup, you can always say you're sorry, even if you're not, just to, yeah, for whatever reason. I'm so sorry, I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry at all. Again, a build-up towards the end of the song. Everything ends badly, otherwise it wouldn't end. And that part, everything ends badly, otherwise it wouldn't end. Do you know what movie I've taken that from? This is a direct quote from Brian Flanagan. And where did you see Brian Flanagan? If I tell you this is McCoglin's law. Never show surprise, never lose your cool. That's from Cocktail. Tom Cruise and who else? That's right, Brian Brown. And that was a change in the piano part right there. Taking off the piano here for, again, maximum impact at the very end here. And at the very end, I turned off the click and synchronization and played everything by hand so I could have a nice ritardando, slowing everything down and stop the song. And that's pretty much it. A remix from 1617. I simply can't remember the exact year there, but it was some of the very first things I did after I rebranded my channel into to the channel you know now. And again, as always, I always made sure I had a version of my own, since I have my own chord progressions in a remix, so I could always fall back on an original song if the remix fell through, and the remix did fell through here, as Robert Parker didn't see it good enough, I guess, for release. I don't know, never talked to the guy. Doesn't matter now. I'm very much satisfied with this version of mine, or this song of mine. And you can, again, find it on my Bandcamp and in my YouTube playlist here. So check it out again if you want to. And I hope you enjoyed this little breakdown and somewhat tutorial. As always, I'm Espen Kraft, and I am the 80s. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.